Welcome, I'm Bruce Eaton, and we're here for a conversation with Timber Jim. Hi Jim, how are you?
Good.
Good.
How are you, Bruce?
I'm great, glad you're here. So let's talk about your legacy and the history of Timber Jim. How did it all start back in the 70s?
My brother and I and my sister and my father went to a game. My dad, I was working over in Idaho. My brother and my sister were going to U of O. And my dad said, come on, let's go to a soccer game. And I kind of rolled my eyes, and he says, oh, it's going to be fun. So we went. And we went and saw, my brother just informed me it was the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And we were sitting on the north end, or south end, by the Mac Club. And it was just awesome. Jimmy Kelly brought our sister a rose. You know, they used to deliver roses before the game, and it was awesome. We thought that was really classy, you know. So we were pretty hooked.
And so how did that transition then from being a fan to being a super fan?
Well, our father passed away that winter. And so my brother and I decided we wanted to keep going. We had a great time that day. And, and then one game I called up the Timbers management. Keith Williams was the general manager, and I asked him if I could bring a chainsaw to the games. And, you know, he says, no way, you're not doing that, you know, are you nuts, who is this, you know? And so from there, I just made arrangements to meet with Keith, and he wanted to know if I really knew what I was doing, and, you know, I showed some pictures, and we just took it from there, and then that's all I did is just sawed slabs. I'd sit down in the dugout, and whenever they scored, I'd go out and saw slabs off of a beam, actually. I had a company called Tim Fab that provided a beam, and that's how it started.
And so from just cutting logs, how did it become the high wire act and climbing the spar pole and those things? How did that develop?
Well, basically one game Keith said, hey, the crowd is really dead, you know, can you get them jazzed up? And I said, well, I'll try, you know. So we had a microphone out where home plate would be, you know, and I went out there and tried to get the crowd all pumped up, and they just gave me the red card. In fact, they gave me worse than that. They gave me the middle finger, you know, and I really didn't like that. I mean, I thought, wow, that was rude, you know. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, you know, I'll jazz them up. So I brought my climbing gear the next game, and I gave Keith a wink. I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. The ER commission would have had a fit. They would have shut it down. So I just climbed the light bank down by the Mac Club, and I was up. I think they were like 110 footers. And I climbed up to the cross arms, and then let myself down on a rappel rope a little bit, flipped my line out in the middle, and I hung upside down, started swinging back and forth. And I took my chainsaw with me, and I fired it up. And that was a turning point. I think that was really the hook, as I call it, and that's why I think people followed me from thereafter. You know, as I did something that was unique.
Did you have any idea that we'd be sitting here 31 years later?
No.
And talking about
it? No. It was just something fun. You know, I was having fun, and it was just, you know, just kind of a spur of the moment thing, a summertime thing that I did. And then one season led to another, into another, you know, and then, you know, Keith came up with the moniker Timber Jim, you know, and all I was is just a regular tree guy, you know. So yeah, I'm surprised, very surprised.
Do you have some particularly strong memories from those first NASL games, particular games or moments as Timber Jim that you recall?
Yeah, I can remember KXL, Brian Jennings. I did a radio interview with Brian, and he asked me then what was my one of my clear memories. And one was I used to, after the games were over, I'd go outside on 18th and Morrison, and there was a wooden pole out there, a telephone pole, and I'd climb up as everybody was exiting. We basically just had another great big party out in the street, you know, and I'd spell out Timbers or whatever, and I just had lots of energy, back then. I could go full tilt all night, no problem. And that was really fun. And an old lady came up to me, didn't know her. She came up and just grabbed my cheeks and gave me a big old kiss and said, "That's my boy," I remember that. That was a real, it was a great moment, I was accepted, and it was fun, I remember that.
When the NASL Timbers folded and had to cease operations, did you find a void there? Had it become such a part of you at that point?
Well, I think for a lot of people, it was sad that the whole league folded, basically, It was really sad. And it really didn't have to. It was just poor management, and they could have done it differently. But I didn't dwell on that. I had a life, I had children, and, I was in the family way, and, we just went on about our business. And I thought it was over forever, to be honest with you. I thought it was, it would never happen again. And then one day I got a call. Actually, my boss came out on the job. He says, you gotta call the big boss. And they want, Peggy Fowler wants to talk to you. And she's president of Portland General Electric. And she got a call from Marshall Glickman, and they wanted me to come back. And I was just blown away. That nobody ever come out in the field to get you, Not unless it was a death or something, But, I was really blown away. So I met with them, and then sure enough, they wanted to know if I trained somebody. I said, "No way." I said, "I'm buff. I can do it," So I did. It was fun.
And so how was the rebirth then? 2001 rolls around, the team starts up again, they put 12,000, 13,000 people in there for opening night. Goosebumps, nerves?
Oh, incredible. I got a really nice reception. It was really fun. The problem was they asked me what I wanted, to do my act. And I said, well, just plant a pole in there. Of course, I worked for PG. I thought that'd be that's no big deal, Actually, I was a contractor for Portland General Electric. And so they had a line crew come out, and they picked a big old, Doug fir log off of a right-of-way that was, encroaching on the power line, what we normally do. And it was 110 foot, and it was had to be 14 inches at the top. And it was an ordeal to get it in there, to make that turn around the max line to get it down in there. And it cost some money. And I felt bad about incurring that kind of cost on the team, after. I had no clue that it was going to be that expensive. But, so that's what happened. And it was a hit, climbing up there on my other poles. I was never able to actually stand on the top. And I think it kind of gave me a signature little thing that I did, And it was certainly noticed around the league, and teams would come in and they say, "We really liked your act," and they enjoyed it. So that was kind of it.
It was even noticed during a baseball game. There was the exhibition a few years ago
with the Mariners.
The rain delay.
Yeah, the Mariners. Yeah, I got soaked. I intended on staying up there to the 7th inning, and of course, about the 4th or 5th inning, the torrential rains came, and I was stuck. I thought, well, I'll just hang up here until surely the rain will stop. No. I got blown around, but it was fun, and I got to meet the Mariners, and then eventually I had to come down and change clothes, and then I came out of the rafters, and that was I worked the crowd pretty good.
You were the show that day.
It was fun. I had a blast.